So we're going back a ways. Another Michael Mann. This will be the third Michael Mann of the pod, and this is Manhunter. His adaptation of the Red Dragon novel. And so you had not seen this, right?
I have never had it. I've never
you had
seen
never
this before.
seen this, so that's why I'd seen this several times, courtesy of my father, and so I really wanted us to discuss this, and I got really excited when I realized you hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
It was like a Michael Mann film that Alec hasn't seen.
I know. I'm kicking myself. Like, how am I a Michael Mann film without
So,
seeing?
without further ado, let's just kick off the discussion. What is your initial impressions of 1986, William Peterson, Michael Mann, Manhunter?
So this has not aged well in a lot of factors, right? So like it definitely feels like an 80s movie. Like,
Sure.
The soundtrack has not aged great. Some of the cinematography feels very, very dated. It's a highly flawed film in a lot of ways. With that said, I thought it was fantastic. Like, my goodness, I'm going to tell you right now. So I didn't even know this was what it was. Like, man, I didn't read anything about it. I just popped it on and watched it and was just like, hey, like, let's go on. So I had no idea this is a Hannibal Lecter film, and based off of the same book that the Edward Norton Red Dragon movie was. And I liked it. I'd seen Red Dragon. I was like, this is fine. Like, I like Edward Norton. I think, Hopkins is great as Lecter. My goodness, this movie blew Red Dragon out of the water. And I even went back and was like, okay, let me just rewatch. Like, maybe it's just because it's Mann and I like it. And I mean, from beginning to end, this movie, even though it's highly flawed, even though there's so much that I'm like, what the heck? Why are you making this choice? Like this is definitely a very early Mann film. But going back and rewatching Red Dragon, I think Edward Norton, his acting performance is actually very wooden and pretty much one of his worst of his career. Like, going back, like it's rough. Like, seeing some of the tortureness that William Peterson brings to this character, and then going back and watching this basically super happy guy, or wooden character in Red Dragon with Edward Norton. I'm just like, how did I ever think this was fantastic? And now, I will say, I do think William Peterson is great as Graham. I do think his performance is not smooth. I also not a huge fan of him whispering basically the entirety of his lines throughout the entire movie. That was really frustrating. But there's something about his performance where he got the tortured character so much more. Like, you could tell that there's something wrong with him, like, not mentally, but like, he is dealing with some stuff. Like, like in the beginning, he's definitely better, where he's kind of put some stuff behind him. He's kind of worked through it. But then as he kind of continues to study the Tooth Fairy, he goes down this really dark path. You can just kind of see him. Like, he does such a great job of showing that descent into madness that I just didn't get with Norton, and I think Norton's a fantastic actor. So I just don't know. I mean, I could keep going, but like, I want to hear your thoughts because I know you also, if I remember correctly, you like Red Dragon or like the Lecter series kind of stuff. But I will stop because I want to talk about Brian Cox and all that stuff as well.
Yeah. I've kind of got I've got an interesting relationship with the content. I really, really, really like this movie a lot. You're right on a lot of things with you kind of just have to embrace the 80s aesthetic. It's weird watching it now. It's almost comes across as like this interesting period piece. You almost have to kind of embrace that. And most of the time that works in its favor. I agree. The soundtrack's like kind of all over the place. Sometimes it works really well. Like, Graham's theme is actually really still very good.
Well, it gave me Blade Runner vibes and a lot of that kind of synth stuff, which I loved.
Yes. So I think most of the time that's working. I agree. The cinematography is kind of a mixed bag. They do some interesting things with location. I do love the shot where Peterson's like got to get out of the mental institution prison complex that Lecter's in. And he's like, he can't get out fast enough because he's got to go down one set of ramps and stairs and back. And it's like, it was a really nice, conscious, like architectural choice to shoot there and have that scene be there. Cause it's like, this guy can't get out of there quick enough and it's going to take him a while. Yeah. And he's like hyperventilating and about to have a panic attack. No, it's interesting with the comparison with Red Dragon. I didn't hate Red Dragon, but I'd seen this first. And so when I saw Red Dragon, I was just kind of like, why? Like, and I understood 86, and it's not like this got a big release and made a bunch of money, so it didn't have like this huge audience. So I understood after you've done Silence of the Lambs with Hopkins, why you and Hannibal, like why you wouldn't just go back with Hopkins and make Red Dragon. That made sense to me. But this bests it almost on like nearly every front. Yeah. Even down to the casting, like pretty much at every role, this movie's better. Yeah. Like Noonan is way creepier as Dollarhide than what's his face from it's Riff.
Fiennes.
It's Fiennes. I get confused because I was a big fan of the Hannibal TV show where Mads Mikkelsen plays Lecter, and I'm just going to say this once on here. It's highly controversial. Hot take. The best depiction of Hannibal Lecter I've ever seen is Mads.
Okay.
It's better than Hopkins. But it's only because he got to play him like more hours. Yeah. But yeah, Mads crushes it. And everybody else is really good in that show too. But
I haven't seen it, so I'll have to take a watch of that.
It's wild. The fact that it was on, I think, NBC is mind-blowing. It's hyper disturbing. Like I don't know how they got it on television, but that's another discussion. So the cast is crazy good. Peterson, this is the best stuff he gets to do until he does CSI. And I just love Mann, and I love Mann's creation of a vibe. Like tonally, he sets tone as well as anyone. And a similar tone you get in movies like Heat and Collateral, you can see it in an earlier iteration in this. And it's like almost a naturalism. Like it just feels like real life. It like an exaggeration of it, but it's heavily grounded. The whole movie's super grounded. And I like that about it. And I've always liked his music choices and his ability to just let the scene play with music. Yeah, kind of second to none for me.
Yeah. Well, going back kind of with the scenes, let him play and just kind of do it. He's a master of being able to hold at least my attention, and I'm sure yours too and many other people, but hold my attention with scenes where there's almost no dialogue, little to no dialogue, but yet still make it very much showing bits and pieces about the character to learn about them, to help them on their journey. And I don't know what it is. I mean, like I think of scenes of Heat where he, De Niro, just in the beginning, goes into the hospital, doesn't really say, no word is said, kind of goes in, you just kind of see him, the meticulous nature of him, or when he goes through the hotel, lobby and goes to kill Waingro. Just like, that's a super long scene of him walking through the lobby and checking these things out, then going up the lobby, walking down the hallway, when you could have done it in a 2-cut of him walking into the lobby and then him coming off the elevator and just cutting it there. But Mann loves these longer kind of shots that most directors in their hands, it would go nowhere, or would feel superfluous, but for some reason it feels weighty with Mann. And you get a lot of that, I think, with Peterson, even some with Noonan when he's kind of just driving around. But I think kind of going back to the comparison, a lot of ways, I feel like Noonan is definitely the scarier of the two. And I feel the more dangerous and the more devolved. I feel like too much was spent in Red Dragon trying to justify Fiennes or make you sympathetic of why he is this way, where Noonan is just the scarier person. Like he just, he's damaged and this is what he does. He's got these issues. And I don't know, the whole movie just felt on a better level. And I saw Red Dragon first before I saw this, obviously. And so I was blown away by how much I enjoyed this over Red Dragon. I know that is probably a hot take for many people who have seen it like I have, and I know many people who've seen both and prefer Red Dragon. Obviously not you. I'm going to go on a limb and say I prefer Brian Cox's Lecter over Hopkins, at least in Red Dragon versus this. Like, I think in Lambs, he's fantastic, but I feel like he's almost playing a caricature of his performance in Lambs in Red Dragon, where Brian Cox, like you said, he's so grounded in this.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me when you compare the three actors that, or in this case, the two that have played Lecter, I don't discount Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. It's world-class performance, and if I'm not mistaken, he took home an Academy Award anyway for it. So
yeah.
What Cox offers is there's a subtlety there, even though he's behind bars, that there really isn't with Hopkins. Hopkins is just, a complete psychopath. Cox, you still can see how he would have deceived the public for so long. And that's what you get with Mads Mikkelsen in the Hannibal TV show, is his cunning and ability to blend in and be, because you get way more before this stuff in the TV show where no one suspects that Lecter's anything other than a brilliant mind. And Cox, so it's almost like you have Mads doing that completely until the TV show changes, and then he's still brilliant. And then Cox is like a variation of that, and then Hopkins is just fully like Lecter, revealed like who Lecter actually is. So it's sort of like pick your poison. I will say Francis Dollarhide has never really been properly portrayed on screen by anybody. The character, if I recall, is the height, I think, of Noonan, and Noonan's 6'5". So they got the height right, but his build would be that of like Batista when he was big, or Dwayne Johnson. He was like a hulking bodybuilder in the book, if I'm not mistaken. So he's never really been depicted like faithfully. This is probably the closest, just based on like size, because Noonan is a very large framed guy, but he's pretty he's kind of slight, but he's still scary. I mean, he's still much more terrifying than either of the actors that play him in the TV show, or because the TV show Hannibal does cover Red Dragon. Yes,
nice.
Yeah,
okay.
The only place they didn't get to
was Silence.
Yeah, and I think it was a rights thing. I don't think they were allowed to cover it, but
well, I could definitely say Noonan gives me nightmares because, well, growing up, I remember him from Last Action Hero. Yeah. And my goodness, he's absolutely just flipping scary all the time in that movie. Like, I'm just, no matter what, I'm just like, ooh, that's nightmare fuel right there, his character in there. So like, when it became him, I was like, so one of the things I wrote down when I was watching it, I liked the choice of the opening location of Farina and Peterson talking like by the ocean, just kind of show like, this is his life. He's kind of give it all up, except for the fact that I could barely hear them over the stupid waves. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, this is the 80s.
What version of the film did you watch?
Oh,
what was the format?
It was streaming. So it was compressed. It was
it Prime?
I think it was Prime. Yeah. So
yeah, Prime's, unfortunately, by the time we release this episode, it's going to be off of Prime. I think. Oh, bummer. I think with us recording this right now, I think there's another 5 or 6 days on the release. I was curious. That was a much better transfer than I'd seen it in previously. I'd always just seen a really rough, very rough DVD transfer. So I thought the color rendition was really nice. For the HD. It's not 4K, but no. What I was going to say is you've made the statement before that, like, with the MCU, the rush of MCU films, like, the stakes are supposed to feel like really, really big, but what ends up happening is they don't, because there's just too much going on, and it's like too much stuff. Like, oh, we just lost a city. Oh, well, maybe we can save the next one. And Superman, I think, kind of suffered from some of this, like the destruction so large.
You can't wrap your head around it. It's larger than what you experience in regular life that you can comprehend. And so you're like, your mind immediately says, oh, hey, this is fake. You know, like,
right.
Even though obviously you're watching a movie, you know it's fake, but like sometimes you can get lost in the movie and really be there when you get to this.
So this movie is completely on the other end of the spectrum. The fascinating thing is literally Will Graham is the only person on the planet that can stop this from continuing to happen.
Yeah.
Like, and so the stakes almost feel larger in a movie like this, even though it's just, this solo serial killer, making his rounds through the southern United States. But the stakes feel bigger because Will's the only one that has the methods to potentially stop this. And the scenes are so heavy. It's brutal to watch, but the scene with him and his wife on the dock at the safe house, they've been relocated.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've noticed how far apart they're sitting. They're not next to each other anymore.
No.
And it's brutal. And he's accepted the fact that he's going to have to be the one to take this guy down. And he tells her, I want you to take, I don't remember the son, if it's Mark or something, but I want you to take him to Montana. He hasn't seen your dad or something in a while. And she doesn't even say bye. Like, she literally gets up kind of in a huff and just storms off, and the score rises, and it's brutal. And there's another similar scene with the son you'd think it'd be completely innocuous. It's a scene with his son shopping for groceries. And it might be the heaviest scene in the film because the son's just trying to wrap his head around, like, do you really have to do this? And like, what happened with Lecter? And he's kind of very brutally honest with him in terms of a boy can understand of like, I was broken for a while. But yeah, he's going to have to be it's really interesting because there's some foreshadowing because the son's like, are you going to have to kill him? And he's like, no, I just have to find him.
Yeah.
And then they'll take him down. And it's like, that's not how it plays out at all.
No.
He is literally the only man on the planet that can find him. And as events would transpire, he's going to be the only guy to end him as well.
And he gets hurt doing it again, much like with Lecter. Yeah.
He does. Yeah. He does.
I was like, dude, you're a trained FBI agent. What the heck are you doing jumping through a window that's going to like basically like slice you to smithereens, and then you get caught in midair?
Well, it's funny. It wasn't the glass that cut him either.
No, it wasn't. It was Noonan with his shard that he had earlier from the mirror.
It's so funny. Like, it was safety glass in the Tooth Fairy's house.
Well, he knew, he didn't like it. He didn't like, mirrors. So if he's going to break a lot of things, might as well be safety glass. But no, I was like, that, like, what are you doing? You like, I had, that was one of the things where I felt like the movie failed me a little bit, that I was just like, this was dumb. I feel like you did it. You just wanted to see someone jump through windows. Like, this makes no tactical sense whatsoever.
No.
And like,
but the character's kind of just thrown caution to the wind by that point too.
And that point, and I guess that does work. But I would still think that at some point, I mean, like, he's been able to somewhat keep it together.
Yeah.
At some point, so like this is the moment. But I guess it is building to that. But I still didn't like it. I still didn't feel. I was like, this feels a little slightly out of character. But
it is interesting. I assume the book does this. I've not read the novel, but it is fascinating how they attempt to put you through all these moments and scenes where they're trying to convince you that Francis Dollarhide has some sort of humanity in him, and this woman can heal his wounds, and no,
immediately turns on her.
Oh yeah, completely.
Drop of a hat. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's why I'm saying he's scarier than fine, because I don't feel any sympathy for him whatsoever. I just want him to be caught, and I'm okay with him. the end he meets. Now, one of the other things that I thought was, when watching near the end, I thought would have been a good shot was, I felt like they should have ended kind of with, I think it was a conversation he was having with his wife or his son when they were on the beach at the end. And I feel like that would have been a nice kind of cap of, they started it on the beach with Farina coming to him to ask him to, work searching for this guy. And he ended the movie with them at the beach. But I digress. That would have been
It doesn't end at the beach?
No, it goes on a little bit afterwards, I believe, like that. I mean, I think, I'm trying to remember.
The end credits, they're on the beach, though.
Yeah, it is, but you're looking from, I guess it works. It just didn't work for me, but you're looking from the ocean to the house, or like they're doing that crane shot or something, or that above, if I remember correctly, whereas before it just opens on the piece of driftwood. So like there was some shot that happened pretty close to the end that was almost identical to the opening shot. And
would have bookended nicely.
This is that's what I wanted.
I could see that.
So that would have bookended it. But
by the way, they shot the beach scenes. They're supposed to be in Florida, but it's actually just a small island off the coast of Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh, really? That makes sense. Well,
and awesome. A lot of some of the studio work was what used to be Screen Gems in Wilmington, and then they did shoot in Atlanta. That hotel lobby he goes up that's super impressive is in Atlanta. A really nice landmark, and then obviously cool. DC. And they did shoot actually on location in outside of St. Louis. So it's like it's all
this
over. Is such a throwback. Well, not only is it all over, it's like exclusively the United States. And if they shot this now, it'd all be like Romania.
Yeah.
So sorry for those of you listening in Romania, but
we don't hate
like
it. We don't hate it, but
no, it would just, they wouldn't shoot any of this in the States now. It just
way too expensive.
It's cost prohibitive, and it's killing me. So that's the reality, but it doesn't look to be changing anytime soon. So
another acting choice that I liked and I actually really prefer, and this might get me into trouble, but I think Dennis Farina's far superior than Keitel in this role. So I like Keitel, but like I feel like Keitel is just a paper thin copy of this, or just the typical like really bad cop or whatever, or just a cop, whereas Farina, like, he doesn't do anything too much to the role, but I feel like there's at least a little bit more than just I'm a cop kind of a feel, it's a little bit more range that he provides. I also kind of like Dennis Farina a lot. Like he's in several movies that I really enjoy, and I do really like Harvey Keitel. I just, again, in so many ways, I prefer this film over Red Dragon.
I do too, even though on IMDb they're rated exactly the same. I actually prefer Stephen Lang as Freddie Lowndes over the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Really?
Even though Hoffman's the better actor, I think Lang is much better as the smarmy, like, I'm going to get the shot. They're much more opposed to one another in this film, Will Graham and Freddie, than they are in Red Dragon. And now they come to the same end. They meet the same horrific end in both films, just dreadful. But yeah, I think by and large, I think you're right. I think this one gets the casting better.
I mean, honestly speaking, if this movie's done mid-90s, like either before or after Heat as opposed to the mid-80s, I think this would be a far more flawless film, a much better. Like, I think you would have had Mann have cut his teeth on a couple things, have learned some things, and I think it would have been a much more robust film that would have done better at the box office than what it is now. I think you would still have a lot of the trappings that you have, but I think some of the flaws that I see, by Heat, he's worked it out. Like some of the stuff. I mean, it's a whole other decade of him having done movies. So this
is the same cinematographer as it's Spinati.
Yeah, who does the stuff. Well, and
one of the greats in my opinion.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the only reason is his partnership with Mann kind of fizzled out was Mann's decision to jump the ship away from film so early.
Yeah. And then Spinati stayed. I'm checking something right now because I read something. Oh yeah, fun fact: Spinati also did Red Dragon.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so he was DP for both Manhunter, and I'd read that, I think, one of the trivia notes or whatever, and I was just like, oh, that's kind of funny.
That's really interesting that he would even agree to do that. Mm-hmm. Huh.
Or maybe he felt like he wanted to either A, work with Brett Ratner, interesting, or he's like, sorry, or he wanted to be like, let me try
that was it.
Yeah, let me try my hand again at this and see what's happening. But
yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Red Dragon's the better looking film. Mm-hmm. But I don't really care with the subject matter. I don't care how good or bad this thing looks.
No, it's just better.
By the way, I forgot about that scene where Will's on the airplane falling asleep and he was looking at like not just crime scene photos, but like right after the fact. And that little girl like catches him like, oh my God.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. This thing really does convey the weight of his work, of that line of work.
Yeah. And I feel like the Descent in the Madness, Peterson pulls it off a whole lot better than Norton, of just like the toll that this work takes, of like how he has to get into the mind of the killer, and almost kind of like what Brian Cox was saying, is like, you almost have to be me. Like that's the only way. Like you have to become me, and he has to think about these things. That was one of the things that I wasn't a huge fan of, is the constant monologuing that Peterson kind of did. I understand why, because you need to kind of transfer that knowledge to the audience, but it worked when he had like the recorder, but then when he's like up in the tree talking to himself, or otherwise when he didn't have the recorder, I'm just like, this is kind of silly, but like,
but I do like the scene. No, but I do like the scene where he's talking to himself, where he starts to put it together that how the Tooth Fairy is gaining access. Yeah. And how he knows. He's like,
you've seen this before.
You've seen the lead's dog. You brought bolt cutters, but you didn't need them. Why? Yeah.
Yeah, like how would you know?
How would you know? Yeah, it's cool. Those scenes are really powerful.
Yeah.
So Farina is Crawford, right, in this? Jack Crawford?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
he's the like the boss, the guy who gets him to come back.
So there's been some really good casting of Jack Crawford throughout the different versions. But I'm going to tell you, so in the TV show, Will Graham's played by very well by Hugh Dancy, and he's just as damaged as Will Peterson's portrayal. Like serious issues.
That's awesome.
Jack Crawford's almost even better casting.
Really? Okay.
It's Lawrence Fishburne.
So that's a performance. That's got to be amazing.
So the show, it only ran 3 seasons, but I'm going to tell you, it's an 8.5 on IMDb. That show was tremendous.
Okay,
so I think you're going to have to at least give the pilot a chance.
Yeah.
And I know you like Mads, okay? So.
Oh yeah, I think Mads is fantastic. I mean,
but yeah, I agree with you. Brian Cox is tremendous in this. Like, he's just so conniving.
Eddie Izzard's in it. Interesting. Okay. All right. Weird.
I love when Cox, like how Cox gets Will Graham's home address. Like, it's just freaking ridiculous.
Well, it just shows that, like, again, like one of the things that like I wrote down after I was thinking was like, for me, it was far easier to believe why people wouldn't find him creepy. You kind of said it, of like how he'd lull these people in, because even when he's talking with Graham, you can see the wildness of the craziness is kind of slowly going through, but he's holding it in.
Yeah.
And he's so much more refined. Like obviously Hopkins, like on paper seems a lot more refined in some way, especially like the beginning of Red Dragon, but like he goes full crazy, where like Brian Cox is like trying to control it. And like, I think it was exactly what you said, of just like the ability of how he fooled people. And he fools, even still fools Peterson, at that conversation, but is able to manipulate him. Where like I see the intelligence so much more in Cox's performance than I do in Hopkins' performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
most of Hopkins' career, he's played the full out in the open.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Doesn't need to hide anymore.
No,
but
he he has to hide it a little bit in the movie Hannibal, which I've kind of got a love-hate relation. In fact, the events of Hannibal are better done in the TV show than they are the movie.
Okay.
But Hopkins does try his hand at playing a more controlled, let's try to blend in Lecter. And that's where I'm saying Mads is way better.
Okay.
Mads' charm comes through, and like Hopkins just isn't able to pull off charming quite as well.
Interesting. I'll definitely have to watch it because one, I've never in my, would have thought Mads as charming. He just always looks dangerous. So that'll be fun to watch and see.
Yeah.
Him.
Well, with the TV show, like you already know he's who he is. But that's kind of the fun of it is like watching him operate in total secrecy.
Yeah.
And no one else knows. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, back to this film. I was kind of excited to have one that you hadn't. Yeah. A man picture that you hadn't actually watched.
Yeah, it was excellent. Like I again, outside of flaws, it just goes to show why Mann is like my favorite director and why he's directed my favorite movie.
I had to think on that. I think Mann's still my favorite director too. Yeah, like I still think it's his ability to elicit like mood and gravitas and emotion. Like I'm a fan. Mm-hmm. Like
and musically he's usually on point. Again, the synth stuff felt very Blade Runner, really worked. It was when he picked the 80s pop rock stuff. Yeah. It was very cringe. I mean, the stuff that was not like I'm listening into in the car. It was more of like when it would just kind of come on and like them doing stuff like montage or whatever. I was like, oh, this is terrible. Like this
probably reminded you like the end track of the end of The Running Man.
Yes. Like this does not fit. This does not work. Like oh, you had to go ruin with that. Oh man. Oh.
The 80s they definitely would end movies with like ballads, like rock ballads.
Yeah. Just oof.
That and like Bloodsport, stuff like that. Just
oh my goodness. Let's see. The only other thing that I really want to point out was I had to quickly write down was, we got another movie with the classic L-shaped bed sheet. Like, I don't know where they buy them, but it's always this perfect L shape, just enough to cover the woman, but always at the waist of the man. I was like, man, like, do you have to order those like custom, or they buy them like at Walmart or Kmart or whatever? But yeah. But other than that, I really did enjoy this. It was good to sit down and to watch this, and like. Did it right. I sat outside, watched it in the gazebo with a cigar. So really had a perfect time.
Yeah, perfect
watching this.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I mean, I don't know where I'd rank it. I still there's plenty of Mann movies I like better than this. But it's maybe middle of the pack 5. Or something like that. But that's funny because it's still a really really good film.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
You got anything else?
No. That's it. That's if you haven't seen Manhunter, I would say give it a shot.
Yeah, I would too. Dated. I would too.
And if you like Hannibal Lecter stuff, definitely. So
well, I think if anybody's a Lecter fan, if they've not seen both versions, they're doing themselves a disservice.
Well,
but I'm sure they're like the big fans are like, it's terrible compared to the book.
I know they did change the ending is different from the book, and Red Dragon is closer to the book.
It's closer, yeah.
Than this. So if you're looking for a true adaptation, this is not it. This is right. But it is the better film in Cinema A to B's opinion.
Yes. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in this week as we discuss Manhunter. And yeah, check it out. And I appreciate you listening. We'll be back next week with a brand new movie.